What's up, and welcome to the BU podcast. This podcast is all about whole body health. So, anything from wellness to mental health, nutrition, fitness, I guess, a variety of different things that all have to do with your health. This is the first time that I've recorded a podcast in a long time, so we're going to see how this goes. Disclaimer to start, I am not... My laundry is going off. I'll get that after this. Anyway, disclaimer, I just want to say that I have no formal education or training in any realm of wellness, as far as mental health, nutrition, or mental health, nutrition, or fitness. This is purely about experience and what works for me. I am in no way certified or licensed to provide advice. So just want to put that out there. If, I was going to say, if this is your first time listening, thanks for joining, but this is the first time I'm recording this, so it's definitely your first time listening. Anyway, let's talk about mental health. So mental health is an incredibly important thing to me. Someone who has struggled with severe depression, anxiety, trauma in a variety of different areas. I have learned over the past 2 years the importance and value of mental health. So kind of diving into that subject a little deeper, today I want to talk about some healthy habits that I have put in place in my routine to really boost my mental health. So because it's the first episode, I can kind of go back to the beginning a little bit. About 3.5 months ago, technically 23 weeks ago, or 22 weeks ago, I took a huge step and hired a personal trainer. This was one of the first steps in dramatically improving my mental health. So I've used personal trainers in the past, and I have not had good experiences. So I was really hesitant to work with one. But I had been following this one on Instagram for a while, and finally she posted an advertisement that basically said, there's no better time than now. Like, why are you waiting for the right time? Just do it. Like, just do it. So I said, screw it. Why not? And I scheduled an appointment to meet with her assistant and, see if the program was right for me. Well, the initial consultation did not go as I expected. I figured it was just going to be informational, but I got all the kinds of information, and then she was like, all right, let's schedule, the first session. And I'm like, oh, that was faster than I expected. But I refused to take time and figure it out or whatever. I was like, I just got to do it. So I did. Pulled the trigger. I started in about a week later from that consultation, and so my trainer, I can add her information in the comments, because she does on top of her personal training program, she's an influencer on Instagram and YouTube and probably other platforms. I don't know. I followed her on Instagram to start, and I follow her on YouTube as well. So her program, it's called Coastal Lux Fitness. It's not just about getting in shape or eating well. It's deeper than that. Which is one of the reasons why I started using her program in the first place. So she values mental health. She values relationship with food and with your body, how you feel about how you look, and with, exercise. So and then there's trainers that work with her or work underneath her. So I have a coach, a male coach, and then I also have her as well. So if there's any time that, I'm struggling with food, like I have a really bad like week or two with nutrition, I'm like, I really don't like this meal and I'm struggling to eat it. And because I'm struggling to eat it, I'm choosing to eat other things. So they'll just replace the meal, which is awesome. And then, of course, there's mental health, which, obviously is the focus of this episode. So I do a weekly check-in every Sunday morning. I weigh in, I have to take pictures of my body, and I have to answer a series of questions. One of those questions, I think like one of the first ones, is how has your mental health been? And, I've had all kinds of ups and downs over the past few months, really high highs and relatively low lows. So, of course, she's a personal trainer, so she's not my therapist. I'm not, sending like detailed information, but I'm still like, my mental health was really good this week. Like, had a lot of highs, or it was kind of meh, or it was low. So, being able to, honestly say like, this is how I've been feeling this week, and that affects my workout. It affects my nutrition. It affects my sleep and my hydration. Like, there's all kinds of effects. So it's cool to work with a trainer that actually cares about that, because she understands that is a aspect, it's a factor in my overall health. So started working with her and got back to the gym. It was really hard because I had like routinely worked out or consistently worked out in over 2 years. So getting back on that saddle was very difficult, but I did it. I really had to like force myself for the first couple weeks to just go. And finally I was like mentally at a point where I'm like, I would wake up in the morning, I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go to the gym, but I put my gym clothes on, grabbed my shoes, my earbuds, and left. Just went anyway. And there have been plenty of days over the past few months where I've not wanted to work out. Like, I'm in the gym, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this right now. It's like, I want to go home. But I did it anyway. Just kept going. And that consistency was huge for my brain. Since I started this program, I have started pushing my business more. I landed a part-time job in my field, where I am doing what I love, and I have like almost complete creative freedom, which is incredible. So it's been a really cool experience doing this job. I manage social media for a restaurant, 2 bars, and an event space / nightclub. So I get to film really funny reels. I get to take really cool photos of food and people and atmosphere, and then I also get to try really good food, and just get to do a lot of really cool things. So yeah, that's been a really awesome thing, and to a degree, it's a result of the gym, because I have just been working out consistently, has forced me to build a routine to eat better, and that routine has given me more energy, which means I am like actively doing things for myself. So actively, creating content and taking photos and doing work and different things like that. Like, I'm just more energized and motivated to do stuff. And that is 100% a credit to my trainer and to working out. So that was huge. It was a really big step. It is also through working out, and really driving my own business has helped me, and then my mental health increasing has inspired me to start creating content on Instagram that's mental health related. And I've learned over the past 2 years that mental health is something that's super important to me. So I was like, I'm gonna make content about it. I struggled to do that for a while, and thanks to one of my good friends who I had told, I was like, I want to do this on Instagram, but this is like my business page, and it doesn't feel like it fits in with the content. Like, I was posting photos of portraits and different work that I was doing, as well as videos. I was like, it just doesn't feel like it fits. Like, talking about anxiety and then posting a photo of a portrait, like, it just didn't fit for me. It's like, I should have started another Instagram, but I was like, that's a lot more work. And he was like, well, why can't you just do both on one page? Like, he said, it's you, it's part of you, so just do it. So finally, I just did it, and just started making reels, and talking about things that are relatable to me. Like, I can talk about my own experience. I may not be, I may not have a degree in mental health or have a certification or license or anything like that, but I can talk about the things that I've experienced. Anxiety that I've had, depression that I've dealt with, and I can talk about that, and it's real, it's legit. And people who have dealt with that can relate to it. So that's kind of been a driving part of my social media. And it's all because my mental health has been a lot better, and I've realized that I should use my voice to help people. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing this podcast, because I have a lot of things that I've learned and habits that I've built that improve my own life, and I want to share that. And a podcast is a great place to do it. It's also a relatively easy piece of content to create, because I can literally record it, do some light editing, and then post it. It's not something that I spend hours on to make, which is a struggle with creating Instagram content sometimes. I just don't have time to do as much work on it as I would like, and I end up not doing it. So yeah, creating that content has been incredible. Another thing that so I started with the personal training, which really drove me in a number of ways to create things. But it's also encouraged me to build habits that are really good for me through working out, and kind of slightly before it. But once I started working out, I was more motivated and felt like I had the energy and ability. I started hiking again. I hadn't hiked in forever. I think I hiked twice in the very beginning of this year, and I was hurting because I didn't have the endurance, and hadn't worked out, so I was just dying. So I started hiking again, and it's been a little bit since I hiked last, but I need to go out again. But hiking is a really good way for me to clear my mind and to just be around nature. And being around nature just naturally makes you feel better. There's a lot of science behind it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if I remember correctly, it releases dopamine, which are feel-good chemicals in your brain. So being around nature is really good. In the past, I have used that as kind of an escape and a way to just get out and clear my mind. And it's worked. It's worked tremendously. So started back hiking. Hiking is a really, really great habit. It's a little bit of a time-consuming habit, so it's not really a daily thing or even a weekly thing that is feasible. So, I've got other habits. One is reading. I just finished a pretty decent-sized fantasy book that I really got into and really enjoyed, and for a little while was dedicating an hour every night to reading. I'd like to get back to that habit. But just reading in general, like, really good for me. Really, really good. It's a way to escape a little bit, but also just not be in front of screens, not, doing a bunch of things that are just unhealthy for me. And it's a way that calms my mind and it's just relaxing. So, yeah, reading is another habit. Another one, I wouldn't call it so much of a habit as just a really healthy coping mechanism, can be at least, is music. So of course I listen to music when I work out. Like, I have a playlist as well as a handful of artists that I'll put on their album, and I've got it on full blast, and I am just, motivated to, work out. But there's other aspects of music that are really soothing to me. For a couple times the past week, when I have, like, about ready to go to bed, I will put headphones on. I did this last night, and I will just listen to music, calming music. For me, that is like Lizzie McAlpine. Her album 5 Seconds Flat is kind of, it can be either my focus music, so I can turn it on and kind of zone out almost, or tune it out. But it's also an album that I can, like, jam out to. I know all the songs, can pretty much sing them all. It's a weird relationship with that album that I can just, like, tune it out and just focus, but also, like, rock out when I want to, like, really listen to the album. But when I'm, like, focusing and kind of tuning it out, I am not, like, distracted by the songs as much as I love them, which is awesome. It's very helpful. Some other, like, meaningful artists, I will listen to Chelsea Cutler and Jeremy Zucker. They have a whole bunch of collaborations that are brilliant. And then Chelsea Cutler's couple albums are also brilliant. Mercer Henderson is another big one. I like a little bit of Gracie Abrams. That kind of, like, indie pop, folky genre is awesome. That's kind of my thing. So yeah, music is a really good way for me to cope. And there's tons of other music that I listen to, tons of other artists. It's very mood dependent, but I still use music as a coping mechanism sometimes. Another actual habit that I have built in pretty effectively for the past, like, 3.5 weeks. This is hard because I manage my own business and am paid to manage accounts, but I have turned off all social media notifications. So I don't get notifications from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or even Business Suite that I use to manage accounts. All those notifications are turned off. So I have to open these apps to check them. At first, I was a little worried that I was just going to be checking the apps a lot. And I was, to a degree, at first. But it became pretty easy to, like, not just be on them all the time. And I have given myself space throughout the day to just be on the app, or on one of the apps. Like, I can just scroll for a while. I have to be a little bit diligent, if I'm working and I've got stuff to do, to limit how long of breaks I'm taking to scroll. The nice thing is, I get paid to manage social media, so scrolling is a part of my job. Finding inspiration from reels and looking for current trends is a part of my job. So, one area that I allow myself to scroll in is at the gym, but I am very limiting on how long that I can scroll. It's between sets, and I'm constantly looking at the clock while I'm scrolling, so I don't go down the rabbit hole and am sitting there for 10 minutes just on my phone. And I'm like, oh, I need to do another set. So I usually give myself like maybe 2 minutes max. Kind of depends on the set and how heavy I'm lifting. And it also depends a little bit on how much time that I have that morning. If I have a lot of time just to work out, then I can indulge myself a little bit more. But still, I want to be mostly focused on working out when I'm there. So like when I post on Instagram, usually I'm posting stuff a lot more frequently in the mornings when I'm at the gym, because that's when I'm on my phone, versus the rest of the day. Like Mondays are content days for me, so I'm sitting on my computer making content, editing stuff, and so I'm not really on my phone as much. Then throughout the week when I'm working on content for work, I am not really on my phone because I have things to get done and I want to get them done at a reasonably fast pace. So yeah, limiting social media notifications has helped me a lot. I know screen time is not healthy. Excessive screen time is not healthy. Social media can be a very negative thing. I'm really working to make social media a positive thing for me, instead of a source of anxiety. And I've done that primarily by controlling my feed and choosing who is in my algorithm. So a tip, on how to do that: actively look for people who post content that you want to see. So for a couple examples that are for me, Gary Vee. Gary Vee is a motivational speaker. He creates all kinds of content that's just motivational. Getting your finances in order, launching your own business, all different kinds of things like that. I follow him and I get a fair amount of content from him on my feed. And it's good for my brain. It's motivating me. Like this morning, I was working out and listening to one of his podcast episodes that I got from Instagram. And it motivated me to get stuff done, finish in the gym. And that was really helpful. I follow a bunch of other people that are fitness influencers, that are people that talk about, healthy food, mental health. Like I follow NAMI here in Greenville. I follow the National NAMI page. If you don't know what NAMI is, it's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So they post a ton of content about mental health. I follow a handful of pages that talk about anxiety and depression. There's others that talk about fitness and just motivational quotes. And then I follow a ton of photographers and a bunch of friends and everything. So I'll see like friends' content, but the majority of content that I see on my page is motivational, or it's about mental health or fitness or food. And that means that I am indulging in scrolling on social media, but what I'm ingesting is not, oh, I have to be perfect and live that life and make all this money. It's like, no, I am at the gym today, so that's a victory. Or this is what anxiety is like. Like, yes, that's true. So it's stuff that's contributing to a healthier lifestyle for me. Things that motivate me, things that inspire me. Along that same little note of things that inspire me too, I follow a fair amount of photographers and filmmakers and videographers that make incredible, inspiring content. And I see their stuff and I'm like, oh, I really need to continue making stuff. Like I've had this idea for a little while, but I haven't done anything about it. I need to do it. And it's inspiring to see that. You're like, I can make that. I need to just do it. So yeah, I'm just controlling what I'm ingesting on social media, and it's helpful. It's very helpful. I have another healthy thing that I've put into place. I tried to do this about 2-ish weeks ago and just did not. So I succeeded in the first half of the week, but then I kind of fell off. I have had a routine in the morning and at night. I get up and I literally the only thing I do for the gym is I put deodorant on and then get out of the house. When I come home, I'll shower. I've got a little bit of a skincare routine to kind of take care of my beard and my face. And then I will also, brush my teeth and just a couple small things in the morning. And then at night, I have a whole dental hygiene routine now that I have been consistent with every day of the last week. I also started showering at night before I went to bed. I did this partly because I found a study that said if you shower in the last 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, it increases your chances of falling asleep faster by 36%. So it just relaxes your body and enables you to fall asleep. So that with not scrolling at night has helped me go to sleep quicker and not lay around for a while. Plus, it just feels good to shower before you go to bed. So, yeah, those are a couple daily habits that I've done. And all of this just supports living healthier and feeling better. And that's ultimately what I want to do. I want my body and my brain to be healthy. And I want to feel good. I want to feel like I'm making progress, and I am feeling energized and feeling motivated, feeling inspired. And that's kind of my whole fitness goal. That's been one of the reasons why I started starting with a personal trainer and working out more. Well, little recap there. Some healthy habits that I've built: working out consistently, eating well, and having a healthy relationship with food. Really capitalizing on hygiene and taking care of my body, getting a good amount of sleep, and then kind of more coping mechanisms and healthy habits that are good for my own mental health. Hiking, listening to music, reading books, and just being active. Those are all things that promote my mental health, as well as create things that I love. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of the Be You podcast, all about health and wellness. Again, disclaimer, I am not licensed, certified, or formally trained in mental health, fitness, nutrition, or wellness. I'm purely speaking from my experience and the research that I've done and what works for me. So I will see you guys on the next episode.